Greetings all, Sean Malone here, or whatever my YouTube name is now. I've changed it again to Liam Sunblade. Don't know why I did that. I guess Drago the Boy was getting sort of old, but, well, it's that now. And I might change it again in a few months. Just doing like an update of what's happening in my life. I have news getting into two possible apartments. Well, one possible apartment and work being done on finding a different option for an apartment. One of them will most likely involve a roommate. The other one may or may not involve a roommate. A friend of mine did say that someone she knows is potentially wanting to join a place and will be looking for a roommate doing so. Hopefully that will be the case. And she says the person is on the autism spectrum, and well, she didn't mention that many details, as so much as far as I know, seems like a semi-decent person, but I won't know that until I actually meet them and spend some time talking to them. And once I'm in the new apartment, once I'm set up with things in Schenectady, I will be looking for a job, preferably at a library or maybe a movie theater. The Bowtie Movie Theater in Schenectady is, well, it looks like a good place to work. It's usually pretty quiet down there, and I will most likely not be dealing with people in a bad mood, because who goes to see the movies when they're in a bad mood? Exactly my point. No one ever goes to see the movies when they're in a bad mood. Even if they are in a bad mood, they'll be in a good mood sooner or later. But if I do go into the movie theater business, I will have to learn a bit more about calculations. And I'm not that good with math. But hopefully with some training, I can get good at math. And with income coming in, I'll be able to purchase things that I'm planning to buy for my apartment. Not too sure what I'm going to buy, but I know first of all, I'm going to be saving up for an actual computer. Preferably a desk, a chair, an actual computer, a good mouse, a couple spare keyboards, a pair of full ear headphones like these, but a bit larger, that will cover the entire ear like this, and have a speaker on the left or right side of the mouth. So hopefully I'll be able to get that. In addition to technological things, I will be buying art and flags and posters, maybe a few statues for my apartment. If I do end up getting the one with the potential roommate, I will of course be discussing it with said roommate to see if they're okay with me buying said things. And maybe if my money is more available than theirs, I might help buy them something. Not everything, but once in a while I'll lend them some money. So, yeah, planning to buy some decorations for the room. And I'm also planning to buy items for the kitchen once I learn how to cook better, so I can make as many things by hand as possible. One thing I plan to make by myself is tomato sauce. I heard a while ago that there's in fact some sort of machine, some sort of kitchen thing that can like beat up the tomatoes until they're all saucy. I'm not sure what that is, but hopefully I'll get one. And then for Sunday I'm going to go to the they have a open farm fresh food thing on Sundays in Schenectady, so hopefully I'll get some fresh ingredients. And in addition to all the stuff for the apartment, I plan on buying stuff for the Renaissance Festival and for learning more about medieval sword combat. I will, at either the Renaissance Festival and or online, I plan on buying at least one wooden sword for practicing. Well, I'll probably start with a synthetic training sword or a LARP sword, which will be consistent of rubber and basically a soft practicing weapon, so I can maybe spar with another person and not get injured. So I plan on buying that, along with various armor things. For the future, I plan to have a padded gambeson, which I might have talked about, but I will be making another video about more specifics of medieval armor throughout the medieval period, and maybe delving into a bit of ancient armors. Once I get a bit more info, I will be making hopefully an in-depth video about the inner workings of medieval armor. But a gambeson, for a brief description, is just like a thick padded garment that goes underneath chainmail or plate armor. It just adds a bit of cushioning underneath the blow. It's about, I think, roughly the thickness of this comforter. So it's padded really thickly, packed. Well, I'll go into it in different videos, but basically it's just a padded garment that goes underneath armor, or can act on armor by itself if the person is broke or doesn't have the money for metal armor. And then I plan on buying brigandine, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but the one I plan on getting is, it's small steel plates of 12 and 16 gauge steel that are basically in between two layers of leather. The front, the outside will be showing studs, and so it's not studded leather, which some historians have a problem with. It doesn't affect metal armor, but the metal which of the plates will be showing outside of the armor. It is for me a better alternative than chainmail, which is if not done right, constricting if a person is bigger than some, or in my case, I bought chainmail without measuring myself and was unable to select chainmail that was big enough for me. And it's also not as expensive or time consuming as plate armor, which is solid metal plates over the body, sometimes articulated with smaller areas of the body. And it's not as expensive and more flexible than a solid sheet of metal over my chest and back. And then I plan on buying leather gauntlets for sparring purposes. I also plan on buying some leather leg armor, which will cover most of my upper and lower leg, and maybe buy some leather sabatons, which is basically armor that covers that goes over the boot, protects my foot getting stepped on or speared by an enemy. And so those are my plans for the future. Hopefully they'll all work out. I've got multiple people working on multiple problems that I'm having trouble with, and the same people, if not different people, working on finding me an apartment and appropriate services in the city of Schenectady, while having other people fishing out of the deep pool. And one big news is when I'm in the new apartment and when I'm set up in the new apartment, I plan on changing my name. I am nowhere near a new name to choose, but it will be Nordic, German, Gaelic, or Celtic. Preferably a name tying into the dragon, the wolf, or the bear. Because, well, dragons, they've always been famous and well used throughout mythology ever since prehistory. Since Babylonian times, I believe, they were used. And most ancient cultures had some version of dragons. Europeans had dragons. Asia, China, Japan, even some places in pre-Columbian America had dragons. I know the Aztecs worshipped a feathered serpent that may or may not have been airborne, which could be a representation of a dragon, I'm not sure. The wolf is because they are the greatest, well, they are exceptionally good hunters. In fact, in some cases in Canada and maybe Alaska or Northern Northern United States, the wolves will sometimes hunt full-size bears, which is bloody impressive because bears are some of the largest land-based carnivores and predators on the planet. In fact, the polar bear is the largest land predator on the planet. You may think it's a lion, but nope, it's the polar bear. Plus, bears are strong. They are deceptively quick. I think 25 or 30 miles an hour roughly. They can climb trees. Yes, even the adults can climb trees, which is pretty impressive. They do that thing where they stand on their hind legs, which makes them look utterly terrifying to me. And so those three animals would be preferable as some sort of names. Tied into German, Nordic, or Scandinavian, which is Nordic, Swedish, and Danish, or Icelandic, whichever, and Germanic, which I probably already said because they're much older than the Scandinavians, and most of the people in Europe today are descended from the Germanic tribes, but I'll get into that in a different video. And then Gaelic and Celtic, because all the Celtic tribes were pretty bad in the old days. Bad as in you didn't mess with them. In fact, they were so good at fighting that the Romans built a wall cutting across Great Britain to keep the Celts out of Roman-controlled Britain. And another good point about Germans is the Black Forest, which I believe one of the Caesars lost an army in there, and I know a good 3 or 5, I think, Roman legions were lost in Germany, thanks to a Germanic-born man. And later in World War II, Hitler lost 2 armies in the Black Forest. He lost one, then he lost another one when looking for the one that he lost, which is pretty impressive. But no, that's a story for a different time, how Hitler kind of messed up. So those are the current goings on in my life. Hopefully I'll be able to get out of this hole pretty soon. hopefully by the end of the year or by sometime next year, I'll be in an apartment in Schenectady with a new name and kind of trying to have a new week, which may or may not happen. So that's what's happening and what probably will happen within the next year or so. So, wish me luck. I wish you luck. And enjoy life. And don't be evil. Yeah. This is Sean Malone signing off for now. And as they say in Germany, auf Wiedersehen.